Hey friend, welcome back. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Heather, and this is Create Your Own Cozy. This week, I was challenged by Ms. Debbie Beard herself from DIY Paint to see how much I could create with this new summer sample box from DIY Paint. If you want to see all the projects that I'm able to complete with just these 8 2-ounce samples of each color, stick around. Honestly, when I opened this box, I had no idea what colors I was going to be playing with, and these first 4 were totally in my wheelhouse. But these bottom 3, ooh, those are a little bright for me. And I am kind of looking and saying, what am I going to create with this very bright color? But you can see here that these colors go so well together. I am going to be challenged by Miss Debbie to run to the thrift store and see what I can find to make over with these beautiful colors. I stop into the Goodwill and I happen upon a whole bunch of these press tins. They were around $3 a piece. A couple of them were the same, but most of them were different. I thought they would be a perfect blank to showcase the beautiful colors of this box. I purchased a total of 11 of them and made sure I cleaned them up and removed the tags before getting started. One of the things that I love about DIY's clay-based paint is it can paint over virtually anything. I did a little cleanup of these pressed metal tins, and then I'm going straight over them and starting with the color Salty Kiss. I love greens, but I have never played with this green before. And let me tell you, I am now a fan. I'm using the Little Dipper DIY paintbrush, and I've decided for this particular look, I am going to get the paint in all the nooks and crannies. I'm only using the paint in the lid right now, and you can see the great coverage that I'm getting. I'm putting on the first coat, letting it dry completely, and then I'm going to be going over with the second coat, and that is where the beautiful pigments really shine. And with 2 coats, I have a gorgeous, gorgeous finish. You will notice the color of the wet paint is richer or a deeper shade than when it dries. It lightens up a little bit, just like clay. But because it is a clay-based paint, it will need to be sealed, and I am just going over this with DIY's liquid patina to seal all of this color. I don't want any of the tin color to come back through. Next, I am opening up the color Mint Chip. I'm getting a little bit on my brush and then unloading it, and then I'm just doing a dry brush, kind of drag across the top part of the tin. And I am really loving how beautiful that these 2 colors are together. With the dry brush effect, you can get as little or as heavy-handed as you want with the higher spaces to allow the design to come through. You will see I get a little heavy-handed here in a minute, and you can basically see a big stripe that goes across the top. Now, the good thing is I have sealed this tile. So what I'm able to do to solve that look is just wipe back that heavy-handed look that I do. I like to use baby wipes, but you can use a very wet rag as well. But it just brings back to the sealed color, and then I can try again and get the look I am going for. Now that second color still needs to be sealed, so I'm going to go over this whole thing again with liquid patina. And there I have a 2-toned tile. And now it's time to try something in the opposite direction. So I am going to use Mint Chip as the base color and then Salty Kiss as the dry brush color.
And I really love this look too. I ended up painting 2 of each combination so that can be styled together in my booth, and you can see how beautiful they are together. The next color I'm getting out is this sea glass color. It is really a beautiful blue, and I thought it was going to go really well with Salty Kiss, so I wanted to do the base color in the blue. Then I sealed in that base color with liquid patina so that that color would stay put and I could have some playtime with the Salty Kiss on top of that. So at first I try to do just a dry brush look, and you'll see I got super heavy-handed super quick. Decided to wipe it back with a wet rag, and I was noticing it was getting this green wash over the top of it, and then I decided that's the direction I wanted to go. My paintbrush had been in water, and so I just went with that. Apparently I lost my footage, but I had my paintbrush with the green paint in it in a lot of water, just added it to the blue already sealed, and you'll see this beautiful color that came out with that with the paint wash on top. If you guys are new here, welcome to Create Your Own Cozy. I would love it if you hit subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and let me know you are here. Next, I got out the color Flirtatious, which is a relatively bright color of pink for me in my life, but I am going with it. I do 2 coats on this particular one, seal it with liquid patina, and then decide to dry brush with some little black dress to bring out some of those colors. While this is not particularly my style, I do believe that somebody would really like it, and I love how these 2 colors go together. Now with the next tin, I'm attempting to make it be a little bit more my style. After the second coat was dry, I am just wet distressing it, trying to see if I like the look of it with all the metal coming back through. And while it is a relatively cool look, it's not really what I was going for, but it totally is an option, because now you're bringing back some of these metal tones and not muting the color, but making it look old and worn, which is a really cool look. So this is an option, and if you like this look, you could just seal this paint right now, and you don't have a bunch of dust around your workshop. You just have a dirty baby wipe, and you can just toss it. And this wet distress look is something that I use a lot and is always an option with this DIY paint, because it's not finished until you do your final seal. Now, I didn't love this look, so I am wetting all of my paint again, which means I'm reactivating it. And now I'm trying to do a little bit of blending. Now, the paint on the bottom is not wet enough. I should have done it when it was all the way wet, but I am just going to play here. I'm going to get a paintbrush with the white swan, a paintbrush with the Flirtatious. I'm going to get a dry brush and try to meld it all together. And it looks kind of crazy at first, guys. I'm not going to lie. I'm like, I'm just ruining this. What am I doing? But it felt very playful. Can I just ask you guys to consider just playing, especially with these sample boxes? It is such a fun way to see what the paint can do, see how the colors can mix, see how you can blend, see how you can change the color, see how you can reconstitute things until it's the way that you like it. And the art of painting and having a brush in your hand is just so therapeutic and healing for me. This was really a good exercise when I have been back in business mode, kids are back in school, playtime has not really been on my agenda, but this was very fun play. After the background was the way I liked it, I got a brush with just Flirtatious on it and did the high points with that, and really loved how the bright Flirtatious color wasn't as in your face when it had that beautiful blended background. You will notice that I'm also doing 3 wood rounds of each of the sample colors. I've decided every time I open a color, I'm going to do a wood round for me and a wood round for each of my 2 booths so that people can have the color samples in their hand so they can compare it with the other colors to see what they want to choose. For one of the tins that had that copper undertone, I decided to just go with little black dress over the top of it, and you can see the coverage from just the little stuff in the top. It covers so well. In fact, I only did 1 coat of black on this tin, and then I wet distressed it to let the copper come back through. I always like to use DIY's dark wax over the top of black colors. I feel like it really brings out the warm in the black, and so that's how I decided to seal this particular tin. And this was just a quick 1 color, use the tin that was already there to wet distress, and I love how this one turned out. Now I needed to use the rest of the little black dress paint, so I decided to paint this little magazine rack that I thrifted for $6. I did 1 solid coat, and look how much I have left. So I am spraying it with water, like my husband's grandmother always puts water in her ketchup to extend it a little bit further. We can do the same thing to the paint. So I extended it, did a 2nd coat. I sealed the whole thing with dark wax, buffed it out the next day so there's a little bit of shine to it, and look at how far that 2 ounces of black went. Next I used my not so favorite in the box, Cowgirl Coral, and then Liquid Sunshine, and tried to do the same thing that I had done to the other projects. I used mint chip over top of the yellow, and I used white swan over top of the coral. And guys, I just didn't like it until I had a little conversation with myself. I'm like, wait a second, Heather, yellow and blue make green. What is the green that we're gonna get with these 2 colors? So I was trying to keep the original color a pure color and see what I needed to do to get a green that I liked. So around 2 dabs of sea glass to 1 dab of liquid sunshine gets this beautiful sage color that I like. You will see that I mess around a little bit more with the mixtures and go a little bit heavier on the yellow, but the fun part is while the paint is wet, you can just mix them all together, add some water, and do blending on your piece. And I am loving the shade of green that we're coming up with. You can see this one has a little more yellow in it. No worries, we'll just add some more blue and have it all work together. It's just play, right? Just colors and play. After I sealed it with liquid patina, I went over it with a light hand with golden rule, the golden wax from DIY Paint, to bring out some of the high areas. And I absolutely love this version of liquid sunshine rather than the original version. Just adding a little blue to it, getting a sage green. This is definitely something I want to play a little more with in the future. I have a whole pint of Cowgirl Coral opened up, and I am very invested in finding a tone of this that I love and can't get enough of. So I'm adding sea glass to some Cowgirl Coral. You'll see it's just a little bit of blue at a time. I don't want to overpower it until it is a tone that I like. And guys, oh my goodness, I ended up loving this color so much. I love neutrals, but I am loving these blush neutrals a lot more lately. And this has a very, it's not terracotta, it's not orange like terracotta, but you can see I cannot paint over this 100% color fast enough because I love this blush color. It is such a warm brown, but it's not brown. There's a pink, it's so pretty, guys. Can you tell how much I love it and how excited I am about this? Look at what happened when I just played and put colors together. I need to do this more. And I'm so thankful for Debbie who sent me a sampler box. And listen, there's nothing wrong with people who love this color in its original state. But for people like me who take things at face value, it is a good reminder that not everything has to arrive and end up the way that it came or was intended. You can do a little playtime with it and get some tones that are gonna be in your creative arsenal for a while. And that's how I feel about this particular tone. Since I'm at the very end of the sea glass blue, what I'm doing here is spraying my brush with a water mister to almost make a paint wash type of second coat so that the tone is blended into everything and there's no streaks. This is a color that I will be using again. But you can see here I still have some coral left, and the blue is all gone. So let's see what the coral looks like with just a little tiny bit of little black dress. mean, can you even? My wardrobe has tended towards this particular color lately, and even the wallpaper in my dining room has a smidge of this nude blush color, and guys, I love it so much. Listen, anyone who likes the coral in its natural state, kudos to you, but this just makes me happy. And I am so glad that I pushed past the uncomfortableness and found ways to make these lovely tones more my style. I didn't do this with the sage color, but I had enough of these paint colors left on my brush that I made sure that I made a sample just for myself, and on the back I wrote the 2 colors and the approximate mixture for each so that I would know how to do it again. It would be nice and handy. I wouldn't have to look it up. And I love that I'm making myself little recipe cards with these little wood rounds that I got off Amazon. To finish off these 2 tiles, I went with my go-to antique gold rub-and buff that I get from Amazon. I just love the tone of this and thought it would be perfect with these blush colors. I had just a little bit of white swan paint left, so decided to use this particular decor that I thrifted the same time I found all the metal tins, and I am just going to go heavy with the white and then wet distress back and use some clear wax to seal it, and that is it. These are all the projects that I can complete with 8 2-ounce jars of DIY paint.
So what did you guys think? Were you impressed with how far each of the 2-ounce colors could stretch? The DIY clay-based paint definitely is highly pigmented and does a great job of having a beautiful saturated color. In addition, were you impressed that I was able to play? Because honestly, the kids are back at school. I have been in like business mode. Let's get back to business. And it was good for me, even though my little artist struggled a little bit. It was so good for me to play with some colors that are not my normal, but see what can be built off of them. And now I'm wishing I would have played and tried to make a little bit more colors. But guess what? I'm a DIY stockist, so I can go grab any of these colors at any time to play. Let me know in the comments, were you encouraged to try out the sample box to stretch yourself just a little bit? If so, check out my listing right here on my website at createyourowncozy.com. I will have them in my Angry Mama's Antiques and Interiors Cumming store, and then coming soon, August 29th, I will also have them up at my Angry Mama's Antiques and Interiors Dahlonega store. So exciting. Don't forget that this video is part of a collaboration, and I am going to put the link in my description so you can check out some of the other very talented DIY retailers and see what they came up with. I can't wait to go watch their videos. And guys, as always, thank you so much for being here. If you're new here, please consider subscribing, hitting that notification bell to all so you get updated every time I upload a new video. Let me know in the comments what was your favorite color, mistake, combination, whatever. And if you know somebody that would enjoy my content, I would love it if you would share to your friends. Guys, thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check me out over at createyourowncozy.com.